Hello family, it's Teacher Bongie again here, and the story I'm going to read for you today is called I Wish I Were, and it's written by Genevieve Lawrenson, and it's illustrated by Ulysses Wenzel. Getting dressed is no fun in winter. Shirt, trousers, socks, sweater, cap, scarf, boots, gloves. It takes Paul ages. I wish I were a little lamb, thinks Paul. Then I would have my own woolly coat, and I would never take it off, and I would be dressed before anyone else in the morning. Paul is supposed to be a good boy and say please and thank you when Aunt Mary and Aunt Monica come visiting. I wish I were a little monkey, thinks Paul. Then I could snatch Aunt Mary's hat off and pull Aunt Monica's hair and make faces. And everyone would just laugh and say, "Isn't he funny?" Mom is always telling Paul to sit still at mealtimes and use his fork and knife properly. I wish I were a little cat, thinks Paul. Then I could put my tongue in my dish and lap my milk, and I would never get told off. Grown-ups like Paul to look up at their faces when he talks to them. It makes him feel silly. I wish I were a giraffe, thinks Paul. Then the grown-ups would have to stand on something if they wanted to talk to me. Sometimes Paul eats a whole big bar of chocolate when he thinks no one's looking. Chocolate isn't good for you, says Dad. I hope this won't happen again. I wish I were a little mouse, thinks Paul. I would keep lots and lots of chocolates down in my hole, and I could nibble it whenever I wanted. At school today, Julian tripped me up and hit me, and then he laughed. I was furious. I wish I were a hedgehog, thinks Paul. Julian wouldn't hit me then. He would be afraid of my prickles. Paul likes the pretty flowers that grow in the park, but the grown-ups are always saying, "Don't touch." I wish I were a bee, thinks Paul. Then I could buzz around them all day eating honey, and the park keeper wouldn't mind at all. Wash your hands before dinner, says Mom. What for? Asks Paul. I don't want to. Our goldfish doesn't have to wash. He swims around and around in the water, keeping clean all day. Sometimes I play hide and seek with that big children, but they always find me first. They say I don't play properly. That makes me cross. I wish I were a chameleon, thinks Paul. Then they would spend hours looking for me. They would search the whole house and the garden and everywhere, and nobody would find me. Paul never wants to go to bed at night. It's boring in bed, all alone in the dark, and sometimes Paul feels scared. I wish I were a little bird, thinks Paul. I'd cuddle up to my mom in a nice soft nest and sleep there all night long. But suppose, thinks Paul, suppose I really were a bird or a fish or an animal. I wouldn't have my own mom and my dad anymore. I wouldn't have my school friends. Who would live in my house? Who would play with my toys? Who would sleep in my bed? I couldn't talk to people. I couldn't laugh or shout. I don't think I would really like to change places. I'd rather just be me. The end.